If you live in the UK, you're never that far from the sea. It's only at most a couple of hours away. And I like to holiday with my family down by the coast. Kids love the beach, my wife loves the sea, and I enjoy the whole elemental quality and the wilder beaches that you can find. On a nice day, the sea is calm. It's easy to forget how powerful and dangerous it can be when the weather turns. But fortunately, we do have a measure of protection from Air Sea Rescue and the Coast Guard, but in particular, I'd like to dedicate this episode to the brave volunteers of the Royal National Lifeboat Institute. They are the RNLI. Hello, I'm Colin Green, and you are listening to Spike Pit. Somewhere between the village of Newlyn and Mousehole itself, I came upon the old Penlee lifeboat station, and that brought me up short because I knew it was famous for something, but I couldn't immediately think why. An information board beside the station filled in the details that my memory couldn't supply. This was the site of an act of great but tragic heroism some 30 years earlier. On the evening of December 19th, 1981, a small cargo ship, the Union Star, on its maiden run from Holland to Ireland, got in trouble in heavy seas off the Cornish coast. It had been a wild day, and by early evening the storm had turned into a force 12 gale, the biggest in the area in some time. As well as its normal complement of 5 crew, the Union Star was carrying the captain's wife and 2 teenage daughters, so that the family could celebrate Christmas together in Ireland. In the worst possible conditions, the ship's engines failed and it began to drift helplessly. When word of a Mayday call was brought into the village pub in Mousehole, the station captain, Trevelyan Richards, chose 7 men and they set off at once for the station. With great difficulty, the Penlee lifeboat put to sea and found its way to the stricken ship, where it managed somehow to get alongside and to get 4 people off. That in itself was extraordinary achievement. Waves were up to 50 feet high. Captain Richards radioed that they were bringing the 4 rescue people to shore and then would go back for the others. That was the last message ever sent. The presumption is that in the next moment a wave dashed the boats together and both sank. Whatever happened, 16 people lost their lives. The Penlee station was never used again, but has been left just as it was that night as a permanent memorial. I'd never really stopped to consider what an extraordinary thing the Royal National Lifeboat Institution is. Think about it. A troubled ship calls for help, and 8 people, teachers, plumbers, the guy who runs the pub, drop everything and put to sea. Whatever the weather, asking no questions, imperiling their own lives to try to help strangers. Is there anything more brave and noble than that? The RNLI, I looked this up later, is an organisation run by volunteers supported entirely by public donations. It maintains 233 stations around the coast of Britain and averages 22 call-outs per day. It saves 350 lives a year on average. There are times when Britain is the most wonderful country in the world, genuinely the most wonderful. This was one of them. That reading was taken from Bill Bryson's book, The Road to Little Dribbling. Picked it up whilst I was away, read that passage and thought, that's pretty amazing stuff. Thought I'd read it to you folks because not only is it a great tale of bravery and tragedy, I can see how we could work that into an RPG. Often the rescue is a fairly common trope. What about a sea rescue? Have we ever done a sea rescue? You could have your adventurers drafted in, even in this tale, from the village pub. And I think it would make an exciting evening's play. Following on from the theme of floods, we had Deep Carbon Observatory, very tragic, lots of people in need, but you could only help a limited number. Maybe this could be similar, or perhaps this could be a chance for the heroes to shine. It could be the weather, perhaps it could be big monsters, who knows. I think it would make a great story, a great adventure, one that would perhaps stand the test of time and remain in the players' memories for years to come. And that, as they say, is a wrap. Big thanks goes out to you, the listener, for taking a bit of time out of your day to listen to old Spike Pit. Take care, and I'll catch you later.